Note-taking for effective listening, a professional development webinar on active listening. Dr. Sofia Chen is presenting on note-taking techniques for enhancing comprehension.
Welcome everyone to our session on note-taking for effective listening. As we've discussed, active listening involves actively engaging with the speaker to understand their message. Note-taking is a powerful tool for maintaining this engagement and improving your comprehension and retention.
However, not all note-taking is created equal. Simply transcribing everything that's said is often counterproductive. Effective note-taking involves selective capture, structured organization, and deliberate processing of information.
Today, we'll explore practical techniques for enhancing your note-taking skills and maximizing their benefit for your listening comprehension. We'll focus on strategies that are particularly valuable in technical and international contexts, where information is complex and communication styles may vary. Let's start by clarifying the purpose of note-taking. Note-taking isn't just about creating a record of what was said, it's about
Enhancing focus. The act of writing down key points helps maintain your attention on the speaker and prevents your mind from wandering. Improving comprehension. Summarizing and paraphrasing information in your own words forces you to process and understand it more deeply. Creating a memory aid. Your notes serve as a valuable resource for recalling key information and decisions long after the meeting or presentation has ended. Action planning. Capturing specific action items and responsibilities ensures follow-through and accountability.
the key is to approach note-taking as an active, purposeful process rather than a passive transcription exercise. If we're just trying to write down everything, we can't engage fully with the speaker's message or process the information effectively.
I often struggle with finding a balance between listening and note-taking. I feel like I'm either missing important information or not fully engaging with the speaker.
That's a common challenge. The key is developing a system that allows you to capture essential information efficiently without sacrificing your ability to listen actively. Let's discuss some specific techniques. First, focus on capturing key ideas rather than full sentences. Use abbreviations, symbols, and keywords to represent concepts concisely. Develop your own shorthand system for frequently used terms or phrases. For example, instead of writing, "The quality control process needs to be reviewed," you might write QC process review. The goal is to capture the essence of the message in a way that you can easily recall later. Second, use a structured note-taking format that organizes information logically. Linear notes can be difficult to scan and review later. Experiment with different formats that better reflect the structure of the information.
Mind maps connect ideas visually around a central topic. This is particularly helpful for brainstorming sessions or discussions where multiple perspectives are being presented. Cornell Notes divide your page into 3 sections: notes, cues, and summary. Capture notes in the main section during the meeting, then add cues, keywords, or questions in the left column to highlight key points. Finally, summarize the entire page at the bottom to reinforce your understanding. Outlines use indentation and numbering to show the hierarchical relationship between main points and supporting details. This is particularly effective for presentations with a clear structure. Flowcharts visually represent processes, workflows, or decision trees. This is helpful for technical discussions where understanding the sequence of steps is crucial.
The specific format you choose depends on your personal preferences and the type of information being presented. Experiment with different approaches to find what works best for you. Third, actively process information while you're taking notes. Don't just passively transcribe words. Engage with the speaker's message by summarizing key points, asking yourself questions, and making connections to what you already know. When you hear something important, pause briefly to process it before continuing to write. This helps solidify the concept in your memory and ensures you're capturing the essence rather than just the surface details. If the speaker is using unfamiliar terminology, write down the term and make a note to look it up later. You might also ask for clarification during a Q&A session.
What about capturing action items? I often find it difficult to keep track of who's responsible for what and by when.
Capturing action items clearly is essential for ensuring follow-through. I recommend creating a separate section in your notes specifically for action items. For each item, be sure to record
The specific action to be taken, the person responsible, the deadline for completion, any resources required.
Use a visual cue, like a box or circle, to highlight action items so they stand out from other notes. Review these action items at the end of the meeting to ensure you haven't missed anything. You might also consider using a dedicated task management tool to track action items. This allows you to assign responsibilities, set deadlines, and monitor progress in a more structured way. In international contexts, additional considerations become important for effective note-taking. Language differences, cultural communication styles, and varying levels of technical expertise can create unique challenges. First, be prepared to adapt your note-taking style to accommodate different accents and communication speeds. You might need to write more slowly or use more abbreviations to keep up. Don't hesitate to ask the speaker to repeat or rephrase if you're struggling to understand. Second, be mindful of cultural differences in directness and formality. Some cultures are more direct and explicit in their communication, while others are more indirect and nuanced. Adjust your note-taking to capture both the explicit and implicit meanings of the message. Third, recognize that terminology and concepts may not translate directly across cultures. Be prepared to define technical terms and provide additional context for international colleagues. Finally, be aware of potential biases and assumptions that might affect your interpretation of the speaker's message. Actively challenge your own perspectives and seek clarification when needed.
Any suggestions for improving note-taking skills over time?
Absolutely. Consistent practice and deliberate reflection are key. After each meeting, take a few minutes to review your notes and assess their quality. Were you able to capture the key information accurately and concisely? Are your notes organized in a way that makes sense to you? Did you miss any important details or actions? What could you do differently next time to improve your note-taking? Also, seek feedback from trusted colleagues about your note-taking effectiveness. Ask them to review your minutes and provide suggestions for improvement. Experiment with different note-taking formats and tools to find what works best for you. There's no one-size-fits-all approach, so it's important to find a system that aligns with your learning style and the types of meetings you typically attend. Finally, recognize that effective note-taking is an ongoing process. It requires continuous effort, self-reflection, and a willingness to adapt your approach based on experience. But the rewards, improved comprehension, better retention, and more effective collaboration, make it well worth the effort. Now let's move on to a practical exercise where you'll have an opportunity to practice these techniques.